Well, howdy there, Internet people. It's Bo again. So, today we are going to talk about Canada and the United States and perception and some information that is now listed on a Canadian website for those who are considering traveling to the United States. You know, the United States, that country that for a long time was championed as the place where, well, pretty much anybody could come. Give me your tired, your poor, your huddled masses yearning to breathe free, as long as they're just like me. So, Canadian website now says some states have enacted laws and policies that may affect 2S LGBTQI plus persons. Check relevant state and local laws. How embarrassing. As a country, how embarrassing. The United States, now when Canadians go and get information about how to travel here, they are now greeted with a warning. And, make sure you're careful where you go. Because there are some places in the United States that are not very welcoming. These are states where, generally speaking, the people there chant USA, USA. Greatest country on the planet type of stuff. Other countries are now warning their citizens about coming, well, not to the United States, but specifically to those parts. It's an embarrassment. There's no other word for it. But since I feel like a lot of those people won't be embarrassed by it, here's some other things to remember. There's a lot of multinational companies. A lot of them. And oftentimes when they set up new places for production, when they're looking at new facilities, they go to places where the land is cheap. Often in those same states, because, the economy's not always great in those states. They may not be as eager to do that now. This is a sign. This is a sign that those laws that your politicians, that they championed to get you to look away from what they were doing, to get you to kick down at other people, this is a sign that, well, it wasn't so harmless to you either, because it's going to impact your pocketbook. This is just like when the Air Force put out that memo. When the Air Force was like, yeah, don't worry, we got your legal fees. We will have lawyers available to help you navigate the system, these new laws, and if you or dependent, if the lawyers can't rectify that, we will transfer you somewhere else. And then people got surprised when DOD didn't expand bases in a state like that. This is just like that memo. Private companies are now going to have to consider it about whether or not they're going to want to send their employees to a place like that. Your politicians, in an effort to drum up a wedge issue, to play on bigotry and fear of the unknown, they got you kicking down so you wouldn't pay attention to them. And it worked. They got reelected. And they followed through on that campaign promise. When you are listening to politicians campaign, ask yourself if their promises, if they're going to help you or if they're just going to hurt somebody else. Because odds are, if they're just going to hurt somebody else, in the end, it's going to come back around to you. Do you think a Canadian company or a multinational is going to set up a new facility in a location that has a travel warning about it? A Canadian travel warning. It's not like the U.S., where because of our history of adventurism all over the world, there's warnings like in a lot of places. Generally speaking, Canadians aren't viewed with the same type of animosity. But that warning now exists. It will have impacts. It's not just something on a website. And it's going to cost you financially if you're in one of those states. Generally speaking, it is cheaper. It is more economically sound to be a good person. Anyway, it's just a thought. Y'all have a good day.